Hello everyone and welcome back to another high-level match of StarCraft 2. Now what I've got for you today is the finals of the ESL Open Cup 184 for the South Korean server, where in game number 1 of this best of 5 series, we find ourselves on the map Gresven. Spawning right here in the top left-hand corner, playing with the red Protoss probes, we have herO, and his opponent in the opposite corner with the blue Terran SCVs, he goes by the name of ByuN. Alrighty, ByuN versus herO in a best of 5 series. Now, in my mind, it would be ByuN who's building structures on the other side of the map. This is herO going for a very quick second pylon over here. Probably not going to be a Stargate proxy or anything along those lines. It just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense with this timing. It should be, indeed, a second gateway. Alrighty, so we'll be seeing a Cybercore here very soon as well. Is he going to proxy that one too? I'd be very surprised. Why would you proxy it? Why not just build it in the main base? Okay, I was gonna say, nah. That probe, man, he was scaring me a little bit. It's gonna be a cybernetics core inside of the main base, but of course this is gonna be difficult for ByuN to scout, especially when he doesn't scout anything. It's gonna be a straight command center after the barracks here on the low ground. No Reaper either. So ByuN basically going straight into marine production, which is fantastic and all, assuming you, well actually, play against the Protoss was also doing a normal build. In this particular instance though, herO is gonna be able to start piling on the pressure very, very quickly. Alrighty, so first gateway has produced a Zealot. Now with the Cybercore done, we're immediately gonna get some Stalkers queued, and this is something that ByuN will not find out about. I mean, he's scouting, so there is a chance he's gonna see this. He's gonna notice a probe coming in from a strange angle, okay? This could still be a Stargate proxy or something along those lines. I don't think he'll be too happy, though, to find out exactly what it is he's playing against. This very soon, there's not just gonna be a Zealot, but also 2 Stalkers and knocking on his front door, and there will be more behind it as well, I would imagine. Alrighty, so SCV is not gonna finish up that command center, and that's annoying. You need this command center not just for the economy, but also to make sure you don't hit a supply block. So that is something that ByuN can very easily forget about right now, or just, you know, maybe assume that he's gonna lose some SCVs, and then he doesn't end up losing any SCVs, and then he still hits the supply block. It's a little bit tricky, that's for sure. This SCV over here in some trouble too. Command center already got cancelled. Cyclone is coming up over here, so that's nice and all. That is one of those units that can, well, put in a lot of work against this sort of opener, but honestly, the damage is already being done. herO can very easily expand behind this, but instead he decides to go for another gateway as well as a robo facility. Okay, so the man is certainly not done yet. That being said though, he has successfully forced his opponent on just a single base here. There's that second command center starting up once again. I really wouldn't mind seeing him just go for another, well, Nexus himself as well, because this is a contain right here on the Terran player, and I think if you can just keep this contain going for as long as possible, you will pull out ahead here eventually. Anyways, Prism coming up. herO just starting this series off with hyper aggression. I do love this little adept shade forward over here, providing high ground vision. You can scout a little bit, seize the timing of that second command center as well. That'll be nice, but he needs to be a little bit careful at the very least. You never really know exactly when those starport units hit the battlefield, and there's always a chance that Terran's going to be sending some of those units across the map. I mean, we all know that Mr. ByuN in particular, when he gets a medevac out, I don't think he's going to go for a medevac in this game, but when he gets a medevac out, there's always a chance that he's just going to send it straight across the map, load it up with whatever he's got, and he's going to leave the main base undefended. Anyways, there's still no Nexus here on the low ground, by the way. There's the Prism. What did we make out of the robo facility on the back of this? It's just gonna be the Prism. Now, this scout over here could be nice. I do believe... No, ByuN actually did not quite see that, I believe. It'd be really nice for him to know that that Nexus actually was never built. If he decides to fly his command center down to the low ground, he's gonna be in a world of trouble. Now, if that Cyclone would have seen that there's no Nexus built yet, I do think that that would make things a lot easier for the Terran player, at the very least as far as that decision goes. Anyways, a Raven decides to leave the main base of the Terran as well. Protoss is ready to just win this game right here, right now. There is a siege tank coming, but not before all of these units are out and, well, out and in, I guess, in the main base. Okay, nice shade forward as well, getting a bunch of damage done. ByuN realizes at this point that that was certainly a misread. And it's gonna be herO who wins in game number 1. Alright, next up we find ourselves on the map Royal Blood. It's gonna be that first pylon inside of the main base, and at the very least right now, there's no probe moving across just yet. Fair enough, okay. I've noticed herO play quite aggressively in general, honestly. He's always played quite aggressively, but especially as of late. Over the last half year or so, a lot of the Terran players have been happy to just simply sit back and defend and then eventually overwhelm the Protoss. They're turtling quite a bit in the current meta of StarCraft 2. And lately, a lot of the Protoss players at this level of play have been going for that quadruple Blink Stalker Gateway type of opener, right? Where they go for a whole lot of Gateway units just at the very start of the game and then try to end it before Terran really gets underway. I wonder if this style from herO lately is mostly just a continuation of that, where, sure, he could play 4 Gateway Blink Stalker, but he can also just try and win the game before that, right? Anyways, this time around, it's not going to be a proxy pylon on the other side of the map with a second Gateway, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if he still decides to get a little bit aggressive. Cybercore going up right here in the main base, and Zealot starts up. Now, this is kind of interesting. ByuN has decided to go for a double refinery start here in the main base. So this will not allow him to go for a fast command center on the low ground, or at the very least not one as fast as he could ordinarily do. Okay, he decided to mine just enough gas to basically fire up a very quick factory. So maybe after that previous game, he's decided, you know what? I don't really want to have to deal with all of this shenanigans. I want to be the one in charge of the early game. Barracks here is producing a reactor as well. This really does look like a Terran versus Terran start. I mean, if we're gonna make Reapers... Yeah, we are. Okay, yeah, this really does look like a TVT start. Interesting. We did not, by the way, cancel the Zealot. So the Zealot is going to be running across right now. Pylon out front, I guess is what we can call this. Like, it's in seemingly the middle of nowhere. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to make use of that, to be honest. Unless herO really wants to optimize the amount of time that it takes for his units to get across. But that certainly does mean that he's planning on being aggressive, yeah. So we haven't gone for a tech structure just yet. What is it going to be? Twilight Council, right? Yeah. It's going to be a Twilight Council here, 100 gas. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, now sadly here for the Zealot, he's going to be met with 2 units that he would not expect at this point in the game. There is a Stalker on the back of this, though, and that Stalker is coming from the north. ByuN, of course, wants to get that... Okay, well, that was very quick, wasn't it? He wants to get that Zealot, but upon seeing the Stalker, he immediately decided to go back. Okay. So this is one of those openers, though, where both players do get an expansion down, but it's by no means the fastest expansion. I mean, this is a pretty ordinary timing right here for herO, but look at him putting out a gate. It's so funny. Anyway, Zealot ends up going out. He just put out a gateway over here. I guess to create a wall-off eventually, but the unit and the structure here powering this is ahead of it, which seems silly. Putting your most vulnerable structure where it can be reached in the easiest possible way does seem a little bit questionable. Anyways, this is the first time that ByuN will see it as well. Ooh, accidental misfire right there by herO. Okay, ends up shooting his own Nexus there once. Not ideal whatsoever. And this aggressive opener right here from ByuN is working out wonders. Yeah, 7 probes have already gone down. It's not going to be the end just yet. Can he at the very least get that 1 Hellion? Okay, he will. Good targeting there in the end. But herO, yeah, he misclicked once. Not allowed to make those mistakes at this level of play. Now, Blink is coming up. 2 additional gateways over here as well, so that's going to make 4 gateways in total. We have that Robo facility, so we're going to be going for that good old Blink Stalker in the main base of the Terran style, right? So it's very strong. I mean, you have to be careful, though. This is still easily dealt with when Terrans deal this much damage in the earlier stages of the game. The problem is, if you can slow down the Protoss in any way, right? Be it with a Widowmine drop or a Liberator or, well, apparently Hellions and Reapers, it makes the defense so much easier here for ByuN. So he essentially shut this down before it really got underway, and now this aggression here from herO that is normally quite all-in-y already, I think it now turns into a complete all-in. He essentially needs to win the game with this next attack that we've got coming up. Now, I love this move here from ByuN. Trying to rub salt in the wound and turn this complete all-in into a completer all-in. Assuming he can hold on at home, this Widowmine drop can be incredibly hard to deal with, especially because herO is going to be super focused on trying to, well, micro his Stalkers here at the front. So here's the boost. Is he paying attention? I sure hope he is. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, he's busy microing at the front. It always surprises me a bit how much damage these Widowmine drops still do. I understand that it's not easy, but, like... this is one of the most common builds ever. Anyways, this is now a complete all-in. There's really no way for herO to turn this around unless he wins with his next fight. And, well, he does aggressively blink forward. He does end up getting the siege tank. Prism picks up the weakened stalkers as well. Okay, Raven in a little bit of trouble, but honestly, it's really not that significant anymore when it doesn't have any energy. Another siege tank does pop. That looked a little dicey there for just a moment, but I do believe that this is gonna be okay. ByuN's just gonna rub some more salt in. There you go. A little bit of lime juice, make it sting as much as possible. Yeah, you can try and get something done here at the front, but it's never gonna happen. Babylon is gonna be our next map. herO started off this particular game by sending out a probe straight towards the other side of the map, but it looks like it's just gonna try to be an absolute nuisance over here inside of the main base of the Terran player. Fair enough. Barracks starts up a little bit closer to the command center. And ByuN, of course, will have to micro against this. Decides to pull a second SCV-2 to try and cut his opponent off. What are we doing, ByuN? Are we just willingly losing some of our resources? Yeah, herO's thinking the same thing. ByuN's just having some fun, okay? Not entirely sure what herO's asking, but he's probably saying, yo, bro, what in the world? Why are you... You really thought, ooh, I was gonna give you the probe? Makes absolutely no sense. Okay. I'm a little surprised. I brought this up in the previous game. I'm a little surprised with how much damage those Widowmine drops still do. Like, the Widowmine is a unit in StarCraft 2 for more than a decade now, and it happens very frequently at this level of play that 2 Widowmines sneak into the opponent's main base and they just destroy everything. Now, I understand that when Protoss is attacking, unlike, for example, Zerg, right, they really have to put all of their attention on making sure that those units are microed as good as possible, right? But still, it really does feel like those Widowmine drops just get more damage done than they really should be able to, right? Am I mistaken? I don't know, man. I've seen Zerg players deal with Terran drops, for example, for the better part of, well, 2 decades now. Okay, maybe not quite 2 decades, unless you include StarCraft 1 as well, StarCraft Brood War. Anyways, they've been dealing with drops for a very long time, and I feel like their reaction is just quicker. Like, it's just crisper, but all the time do we just have a Protoss, you know, a medevac right here within the vision range of Protoss. It's like, la 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 la, drop, burrow, and, like, probes didn't even react. Anyways, I wonder what ByuN is saying over here. I understand the game's hard, okay? But I do feel like there's certainly some improvement there when it comes to microing against those Widowmine drops. Especially at this level of play. Like, of course, at the lower end of the line, I understand, right? That those units, they slip through the cracks of the defenses of our Protoss. But at this level of play, these guys are fast, man. It happens all the time. Anyways, once again, a little bit of aggression to start things off. The scaffolding needs to be removed. There we go. SCV managed to get it done. Good job. Alright, it's gonna be a slower start this time around here for herO. This is certainly gonna be ByuN's map pick. The problem with this map is that it's quite difficult for Protoss to actually get into the Terran's main base. So say, for example, you want to go for some sort of blink aggression, right? Where in the world are you gonna blink? You're gonna go over here and then, you know, have one siege tank just power everything down? I mean, it's not really a good map for this sort of, Blink Stalker play, or that sort of Blink Stalker play, so I'm not really too surprised to see it. Thought for a second we were already gonna go for a third Nexus here, and I wouldn't honestly mind that, but it's gonna be a little bit of Phoenix play and then into a Robo facility. This is something we see all the time on this map. Because it is so common though, I wouldn't even mind seeing Terrans go for that faster third command center on their side of the map. We've been seeing that a little bit as of late. Triple command center play is not ideal against Blink Stalker openers, but if you know that your opponent is going to go for, well, Phoenixes into Colossi 9 times out of 10, I do think it would be a cool strategy to see mixed in every once in a while, even though it's going to be a little bit of a guessing game. Anyhow, here we go once again. Please don't tell me we're going to go ahead and lose an entire mineral line worth once again to a single medevac drop. Okay. Careful. Hello. Okay. Playing with fire there. He does end up losing 2 probes, and I do believe he's going to be able to chase down that medevac relatively easily as well. And that's going to be sweet. This is a good start right here for herO. Yep. Now, I'm sure ByuN is not going to be sending that Raven across the map, right? I mean, he's seen that his opponent is going for, Okay, alright. It's ByuN we're talking about, so you never really know, but there's always a chance it's gonna be like, you know what? What are the odds of those Phoenixes checking out the absolute corner, the absolute edge of the map? There's no way those Phoenixes are gonna catch me there, right? So, already good positioning here by herO, by the way. I really love these couple of heads-up pylons, I guess is what we can call them. So this one over here, like, say there would be a Raven or a medevac or something sneaking past the right side of the map. It would be scouted here by the pylon. Well, at least like 5 seconds ahead of time. And the same can be said over here for the pylon at the bottom. There should be enough vision over here as well to see all of those incoming drops and, well, Ravens and all the rest of it. Alright, so there's the extended thermal lens together with the Colossus. It's going to be Phoenixes into Colossi right here for herO. This is one of those unit compositions that has a lot of potential. It's just that it is also very difficult to actually control. Now, this is the type of game, though, that ByuN has been wanting to play so far in this series, it seems. Game number 2, maybe a little bit of a lucky win for him. He didn't really expect that one, I don't think. But at least in game number 1, and in basically all of the games I've seen ByuN play lately, even though he likes being the aggressor usually, most of the time, in Terran vs. Protoss right now, he likes being at least a little bit more defending, right? He likes to focus a little bit more on defending in the earlier stages of the game. Good pickup right there. Raven and the Cyclone helping each other out. Of course, by the way, that Raven is going to be absolutely critical in this matchup. So, because this is Phoenixes into Colossi, this is something that ByuN probably realizes at this point. I mean, he hasn't seen exactly what's going on inside of that main base here of the opponent. But he did see the Robo facility here, so he can put one and one together. The Ravens have an ability called Interference Matrix that allow them to temporarily shut down the Colossus. And the Colossus is about 80% of the firepower in this army, so the Ravens are gonna be, oh my god, so vulnerable! That's what I'm talking about! The Phoenixes need to try and hunt down the Ravens before the Ravens can shut down the Colossus. Now, those force fields are not quite ideal, but we are gonna force some of these units. There we go, there's the Interference Matrix. Oh my god, I don't like that whatsoever, man. Even without the Colossus, though. Yeah, the Phoenixes at this point are putting in a lot of work. Colossus eventually does go down. What started off as an amazing engagement there for herO still turned out to actually be quite decent. But getting the Prism snipe there together with the Colossus basically right at the same time, not quite ideal. But of course, that's also the reason why ByuN decided to go for 2 Ravens rather than just the 1. Nice little bit of micro there. That was wonderful. Lifting up the Cyclone just for a split second to lose the lock-on right there on that 1 Phoenix that was all the way in the back. Now, that was a cheeky little push that we see quite a bit from Protoss these days. Back in the day, we used to see them waiting until they actually finish up their upgrades and until they actually have a standing army rather than just 1 Colossi and 3 sentries or whatever it was. Now it's going to be a fight, though, with extended thermal lens and all that as well. I don't believe that upgrade was finished, although I also don't believe that the Colossus got to fire a single time. Maybe it was actually done. I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, the Colossi didn't really deal any damage in that previous engagement. There is still some energy on that Raven here. herO's really hunting for that one. Of course, ByuN really hunting right here for the Colossus. He has seen them right now. He knows what he's playing against. Early Stimpak right there just to try and force those Phoenixes to retreat. No charge done or anything along those lines yet here for herO, so that one is fired up right now, together with a 4th Nexus here on the right side of the map. Okay, now this is of course where the Phoenixes are incredibly nice. Yeah, herO is saying, yo, if you want to dance, that's fine and all. We can dance with the main army. We can dance if we want to, but I'm gonna kill all your SCVs. Okay, I won't do that to you. I won't be singing for you in this cast, okay? But that was painful right there for ByuN. 11 SCVs end up going down, and really his economy is not looking all too hot right now. He's got the 3rd base landed, so that's the cue for Terran to go into that ghost play, but worker-wise, this game is not looking nearly as great for Terran as it did just a little bit ago. Okay. Templar Archives coming up as well. I would imagine that's gonna be mostly just for Archon play here, but the Archons do have a pretty significant drop-off. Charge is gonna finish up right now, and this can definitely put in a lot of work. 3rd Command Center was just now landed. Here's the Phoenixes once again, just trying to deal damage wherever they can. Good micro here by ByuN, though, backing up to the safety of that high ground. But he's soon running out of space to run. He doesn't really have anywhere to go anymore. Phoenix is still hunting down that Raven. They're still thinking about it. Raven really wants to get an interference matrix, but look at those lasers being shot wherever they can be used. I mean, there's some really good interference matrices though, but now there's also a disruptor in the mix, which is not to be underestimated. This is the first time that ByuN sees it, but he does manage to dodge all of those, well, all of them. That one purification Nova. That being said, I just don't think he's got the numbers. Yeah, his economy has been hindered too much over the last few minutes. He decides to send a couple more SCVs down the meat grinder. That's nice and all. Here's the reinforcing Zealots now showing up as well. Second robo facility in the meantime at home too. I mean, there are a lot of units that just popped out of their barracks. So maybe ByuN can push this back. EMP as well on the Phoenixes to make sure they cannot lift at least for another little while. Reinforcing Disruptor gets 3 Immortals, or 3 Marauders rather. They wish they were Immortals. 3 Marauders there in the end. GG is cold. And herO gets another point on the board. Altitude. Biggest map in the map pool is going to be our next map. ByuN has started off this particular game with a pretty quick SCV that's going across the map. Not exactly sure though if this is going to be for any sort of aggression. I would imagine it's maybe going to be a engineering bay block. This is something we see quite a bit. It's very annoying, of course, for the Protoss player to have to deal with, because normally you don't actually send a probe down towards the low ground until you plan on building that Nexus. Now, that one is going to be coming up very soon. Usually right around 20 supplies when Protoss will be building that one. You'll be cutting probes for it as well. So Cybercore is going to go down. There you go. He's just checking if it's the right place. And now he's going to go down to the low ground. Stops probe production for a little bit, and he sees the engineering bay. Now, what do you do at this point? Okay, I think what we're gonna do is take that expansion that we wanted to build in the natural. Okay, yeah, all the way over here at the 12 o'clock position. Now this, of course, is really annoying to play with. Upon seeing the Nexus, ByuN immediately canceled the engineering bay. And this is one of those no-brainer openers, man. If you're a Terran player and you play on the ladder, right? You play below the pro level, which you probably do. I mean, 99.99999% of the players do, okay? So there's no shame in that. But I feel like this is one of those builds that is an absolute nuisance for Protoss to have to deal with. Because now their main base and their... like, this is annoying, man. If you play Zerg, you know how frustrating it is to have your third base taken as your first expansion. Protoss, though, their units move at, like... they move at a snail's pace compared to Zerg. They're very slow. So it's actually difficult for Protoss right now to split up their armies, to split up their units, and to make sure that they're actually optimally mining this. In a way, this is forcing herO into like a 2-base all-in, right? I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. The 2 workers saw each other on the right side of the map, so... Anyways, it's annoying right now. You can also force your opponent to go for a really quick third Nexus just to try and get things once again back in order, but... not very easily done. Then again, though, this is Altitude, so if we're gonna see a big macro game, I would imagine Altitude is not a bad map for it. Stargate opener here for herO once again. Are we gonna go Phoenixes? Yep, we are gonna go Phoenixes. Haven't seen a lot of Oracle play lately, actually. Oracles seem to have, yeah, lost a bit of popularity at this level of play. Maybe it's just because I'm watching all of the aggressive Protoss players lately. But the Terrans have gotten very good as well, of course, at just hiding those Widow Mines. And yeah, even when you do go for an Oracle start, it's quite difficult for the Protoss to actually get work done, because oftentimes Terran will have the defenses ready to go anyway. So a Cyclone is coming up right now that would be available by the time yeah, an Oracle can arrive on the side of our Protoss, unless it's a proxied pylon, but yeah, probably not going to be the case. Okay, now this is lovely, of course, because, well, the defenses are split. Yep, couple adepts do shade forward. Phoenix now also shows up. Very little amounts of damage so far, though. Okay, we're gonna pick one of those units up, and I think he's gonna get... yeah, he's gonna get killed. Sorry, buddy. The car's not getting that much work done, but luckily for them, they managed to sneak around once again. Another probe ends up going down. You can see how annoying this is, right? So keeping 2 of them around is still nice, though, because, yep, if you can fire at the same unit several times... you do end up killing them here eventually. Now, I don't believe he's gonna get another kill. Oh, he does get one more. Okay. So, 8 probes for 4 cars. Not exactly sure if that's worthwhile, but I don't think it's bad right here for our Terran. He's still making Cyclones, by the way. How many Cyclones are we at? Okay, we're gonna go into the second one. That is a little interesting. Maybe a bit concerned right now for the counterattack. Yeah, there's the 3rd Cyclone coming up as well. Okay. So Twilight Council on the back of this, by the way, from herO. Twilight Council together with Fort, so no robo follow-up this time around. That means that his aggression here from Protoss is going to be minimal. I mean, he may try. Yeah, he can try, certainly. But he's not going to be able to warp in any reinforcements here anytime soon. I don't think I like that move all too much, to be honest. The Adepts do fall off pretty quickly as the game progresses, so maybe getting whatever trait you can right now is not a bad call, but he does also see what's going on in the main base, right? So he notices here, okay, everything seems pretty good. He doesn't know if if the Stimpack upgrade has already been fired up, but he knows at the very least that it's not going to be something super aggressive here coming out of the Terran player. It's going to be Stimpack and combat shields on the back of this. We'll probably see +1 infantry weapons starting up very soon as well inside of that engineering bay, and at that point, I think ByuN has basically got, there you go, his work cut out for him. I mean, this is ByuN though. Yeah, he's decided, you know what, my opponent doesn't really seem to have that many units. I could sit back right now and go for a timing attack, but I could also just send everything across the map. herO is thinking the same thing though. He knows that ByuN likes sending everything across the map, and he knows that he's quite weak right now, so he decides to go for a proxy pylon with a gateway on the other side of the map. Charge is going to be our first upgrade right here, by the way. Now, that is also a little bit cheeky. If this would be a Colossus follow-up, they could be out right now. Luckily here for ByuN, that's not the case, because they're not an easy unit to deal with here. Charge, though, is a pivotal upgrade, right? And that upgrade does take quite a while to produce. Phoenixes, maybe a little bit overly eager. Okay, yeah, forcing them to flinch over there. And apparently that allowed the Phoenixes to go back home. Yeah, this is essentially just going to be a full-on all-in here. There is no natural expansion taken here from for our Protoss, so he's basically just going for, yeah, 7 gateways here, maybe 8 gateways in total, 8 gateways, and charge slots. That's it. That's the whole strat. He's still mining gas. He could have even pulled out a gas if he really wants to, but I think we're just going to maximize the amount of Zealots that we can produce here. Sentry coming up as well. Okay, I was wondering if it's gonna be like Archons or something along those lines. Anyways, one problem right here though is that there's a good chance he's gonna hit Terran right as they got their power spike, right? So +1 infantry weapons, like I said, it's finishing up a little bit behind Stimpack and combat shields, which are already done. But this is gonna be a ton of production right here for herO. Yeah, Archons in the mix would be really nice as well, by the way, because we have nothing really to spend the gas on at this point, but he's trying to bait these units out as far as possible. Okay. Are we gonna go for an attack right now, ByuN? This is about to get really awkward, actually. Okay, he scouts the high ground. He sees that there's a whole lot of nothing. What does ByuN decide to do right now that he sees all of those units knocking on his front door? Okay, he apparently decides to stim and run back home. Charge has been wasted here for a little bit, but it should be available again by the time that these units do get back, well, to their high ground-ish. I mean, he needs to be so careful. He wants to fight this, but ByuN wants to, of course, kite this back. Phoenix is up in the air trying to lift up whatever unit they can, so hopefully they will they will supplement this mass Zealot army reasonably well. And you know what? Judging by the fact that ByuN's supply count is dropping, this fight went way better there for herO than I thought it would. Widow Mines are coming up right now. Yeah, I guess what the main problem here is for ByuN is that he's got no siege tanks, he's got no Widow Mines, he's got no splash damage. So those Zealots are not easily dealt with. There's no Ghost, of course, either. So there's no way for him to properly deal with these clumped up Protoss units. And suddenly that means that these Zealots are getting an awful lot of value. Here's another warp in though. More and more reinforcements are showing up. Phoenixes are running out of energy. Those Widow Mines got some good work done, but they do end up getting sniped, and they ended up killing a bunch of Phoenixes that were mostly low on energy. And if you're planning on winning the game within the next minute or two, that doesn't really matter that much. Loads of SCVs have already gone down. Keep in mind, though, that herO doesn't have a very big economy on the back of this himself. ByuN just trying to put out this fire to the best of his abilities, but there's even more Zealots showing up. An absolute slugfest, though. Over Protoss versus Terran here. Both of these players just being so aggressive. I guess our previous game was our macro match, right? I mean, no long macro games in this particular series here. Both players just trying to win the games as early as possible. And I think this one's over. There's really no way here for ByuN to come back against this big of a Protoss army. So it's herO who obtains the victory in the ESL Open Cup in South Korea.